And you know, on the topic of mood, yeah. Get ready, we're going.
Another thing that reduced energy intake.
What happened about it? Yes, okay.
I'm gonna have a blooper reel at the end of this. Hi everyone, I'm Rubina.
And I'm Layla.
Welcome back to our channel, Elementary My Dear,
where we make nutrition science easy for you to digest.
Today we're talking about how having low body fat is impacting your mind.
Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss one of our videos. This is a really exciting video because it's building up again off of a comment question that we got. It was asking what are the implications of low body fat for both physiological health, so that's like your body and stuff, and we did that last week, and this week we're going to talk about your psychological health and how low body fat impacts that.
So if you haven't watched part 1, check that out. I think in our society, seeking out weight loss and fat loss is everywhere. I think it's almost impossible to meet an adult who isn't actively trying to lose weight right now, or is thinking about losing weight in the future, or has tried to lose weight in the past. I think with diet culture messaging, it makes sense that we got here. But I think a lot of people think that once they get there, it's gonna be all sunshine and roses and finally gonna be happy, and finally gonna be able to do all of the things and finally live their life. But is that actually what happens? Or is there a dark side to losing weight?
With diet culture, with the way that we talk about weight and body weight, there is this idea that
less fat equals more healthiness.
Spoiler alert to the rest of this video. No, it doesn't. When we're talking about like, oh, you know, you just lose the weight and then you're gonna be happy and then you're gonna have better relationships and you're gonna do cooler things and everything's gonna be better in your life, it can actually be the opposite. For those of you who missed last week's video, body fat percentage is the proportion of body fat you have in your body compared to your total mass. So what percentage of your body is fat versus what percentage of your body is not fat. I think what people forget is that you need a certain level of fat to be healthy. Fat plays a very, very important role for many different things, including energy, insulation and protection, hormone production, among many other things. Fat gets this really bad rap, but it is essential. Your body likes things to stay relatively stable, homeostasis, if that rings a bell for anyone who did like grade 11 bio. Periods where you're losing a lot of body fat or you know you're not taking in a lot of calories kind of puts your body on like high alert and your body starts making changes.
Listen, we are going to try and mitigate this as much as possible.
So this leads to changes in all kinds of different things, including to many of your hormones. Thyroid hormones, your sex hormones, this hormone called leptin, those all go down. Cortisol, which is your stress hormone, and ghrelin, which is the hormone that kind of tells you that you're hungry, go up because your body is trying to be like, okay, listen, you don't like where this is going. Because typically when you see great amounts of weight loss, that's a red flag. That's like, we may die.
All those changes to the endocrine system cause a lot of different changes physiologically. So things like feeling more hungry, feeling more tired, your resting metabolic rate going down, your reproductive system having issues. But those changes go even beyond that and can have effect on your mind as well. For example, with your thyroid system, extreme calorie restriction or very low body fat reduces levels of thyroid hormones. What happens is that you feel a lot more fatigued and tired. That's not just physical tired, you also feel more mentally tired. And another contributor to that is low levels of testosterone that tends to accompany very low calorie diets and low body fat as well. Studies have shown that giving women exogenous testosterone can help improve their symptoms of fatigue. Next up, we have irritability.
It's pretty much a given that, you know, you're not eating a lot, you're losing a lot of fat, you're gonna be irritable.
What's super weird is that research actually finds that there's even a difference between those doing very intentional and deliberate weight loss versus people that are losing weight more passively. People that are losing weight in a deliberate way tend to experience more aggressiveness than the counterpart.
And not just any type of aggressive, hostile aggressiveness. We're just like mean for no reason.
Where you want to hurt the other person.
That might even come from like a homeostasis thing. It's like, this is mine, this is my food, or like this is my area, like I need to protect this so that I can get back to.
Snickers new.
Alex, you're not you when you're hungry. Have a Snickers.
These changes in aggressiveness is thought to arise from increased levels of cortisol. Short-term increases in cortisol does seem to have the impact of increasing people's aggressiveness. Interestingly, chronic exposure to elevated cortisol seems to have the effect of low mood.
On the topic of mood, all of these hormones are in the kind of a very delicate balance. Something like severe weight loss and where you're losing a lot of body fat over time, your body is going to downregulate the production of testosterone, which then has an impact on your mood and can lead to more mood instability. I think when we talk about things like testosterone, we have this idea of, oh, testosterone makes people aggressive or testosterone makes people horny. But these sex hormones actually do have implications for mood and mental health. Women who are administered exogenous testosterone, so that's like testosterone that's not made in their body, it has a mood stabilizing effect, which almost goes against what people think when they think of testosterone.
Reduced energy intake can also reduce levels of serotonin in your body. And serotonin is a chemical messenger, is often called a feel-good hormone. It's considered to be a mood stabilizer. It also helps with sleep. As you can imagine, if you have diminished levels of serotonin, it's going to affect your mood.
There might be many different reasons for something like this. Serotonin is made from an amino acid called tyrosine. Having less intake throughout the day, that might mean that you're having less protein or less amino acids that could impact the amount of serotonin that your body is able to produce. There's also probably like many other reasons why, low energy intake would impact serotonin. That just goes to show the importance of a varied diet. Interestingly, it's not just a change in your body composition or a change in the amount of energy that you're consuming that can have an effect on your mood. It's also the types of food that you're eating. Your diet composition, specifically having a low-fat diet, can lead to alterations in mood, especially having a lower mood. People who are losing large amounts of weight, having a low-fat diet is often what happens because fat is the most calorically dense macronutrient. So that means out of protein, carbohydrates, and fat, those are the ones that give your body energy. Fat has the most energy per gram. So oftentimes people are cutting back on that.
The final big one, when it comes to restrictive eating, excessive weight loss, etc., a common risk is eating disorders or disordered eating. On the competitive bodybuilding space, that there does seem to be a higher prevalence of eating disorders. When it comes to competitive bodybuilding, that takes a lot of discipline. Train multiple times a day, often 1 to 2 hours a session. On top of that, tracking every bite that you put into your mouth. That takes a lot of discipline. I think it takes a certain type of personality, but then once you enter that space, being evaluated, having a coach giving you certain feedback, and then actually doing the competition and getting whatever place in the competition that you get, I think that's likely to kind of fuel that further, increasing that risk for eating disorders or disordered eating.
When there are groups of people who have to focus on food and what they're eating often, the rates of eating disorders do increase. Like, for example, people who have type 1 diabetes and have had it since childhood, the rates of eating disorders within that group of people is a lot higher. And it's just because, from such a young age, you're always thinking, okay, like, what foods am I eating? Can I eat this? Can I not eat this? And kind of just shows that any group of people who are just so focused on what they're eating, it just increases your risk of eating disorder or disordered eating.
That's a really good point because, fun fact, even within the dietetic profession, the rates of eating disorders are higher than outside of the profession. And again, I think it is because when you've learned so much about food, your entire work is around food and talking to people about food, it's something that just ends up taking up a lot of space in your mind.
That preoccupation of like, okay, healthy versus unhealthy can really take over your decision process, affect your social life, affect your mental health, cause you to make judgments about yourself in terms of like, oh, I'm eating a lot of unhealthy food, therefore I'm like a bad person. I don't want to go to this social function because there's going to be unhealthy food there. And it's like, when it gets into that, that's the kind of territory of eating disorder or disordered eating where it's really affecting your mental health and your everyday life. And it is really easy to get there when you are really thinking about food. And so for someone who is pursuing weight loss and pursuing having a very low body mass, it is really easy to get to that point.
If you do find yourself in that situation where you feel like you may have an unhealthy relationship with food, please do reach out to a healthcare professional that has experience with eating disorders and disordered eating.
Our society's preoccupation with being lean and fit and skinny seems to be analogous to health. That's kind of the way we talk about it. It's like,
The skinnier you are, the healthier you are.
but when you really get into it, you find that first and foremost, there's not that much research on like what actually is like a healthy body fat percentage. It's kind of just like people made it up based off of like what people look like, it seems like. Also, the pursuit of being ultra lean and the pursuit of reducing your body fat to such an extreme extent can lead to both physical problems that can be long lasting, they can affect your bones, your cardiovascular system, but also mental health problems, including fatigue, mood, eating disorders, which can also be long lasting as well.
Friends don't let friends go on really restrictive diets.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you never miss one of our videos, and follow us on our Instagram and our TikTok.
Thank you for watching.
Bye. Okay.